Hey, what's up guys, John here. I believe we could see 1 million people lose their home inside of the state of California. But what's happening inside of California, unfortunately, looks like it's going to be coming nationwide. There's a very big change coming against landlords in favor of tenant rights. You may have seen that National Bill of Rights that was put out through the White House. You may have seen a conversation had by USA Today and many other outlets about a national rent control.
We believe that rent control is an appropriate tool nationally.
But there's this story in Beverly Hills, which I believe is just the tip of the iceberg, showing what is coming next. This is breaking news. It's literally every major media company is talking about this story, about what's happening to this homeowner.
Squatters have turned a mansion into a party house. Police have tried and failed to shut down that party mansion. The suspected squatters say they have a legal right to be there, but neighbors say they are fed up.
I'm going to show you what's happening here, what's coming next, and why I believe we're going to see a massive fall in pricing and fall in values across property all throughout the state of California. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share the content, educate more people about what's going on in the national housing market. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session. If you're thinking about investing and taking advantage of some incredible investing opportunities, you're going to want great credit so you can get the best loan available. Take a look at this. So Beverly Crest neighbors furious after squatters take over a multi-million-dollar home. So this property, it's listed for $4.6 million. And this property went on the market. So people jumped over the fence. They called in a locksmith. They illegally changed the locks. Now they're renting out this property for $30,000 per month. $30,000 a month. Think about that. If you're a squatter, maybe you'd have nothing. And you're like, hey, I'm just going to break into this home. I'm going to make $360,000 a year tax-free. I mean, that's the state of California, and they're allowed to do it. The judge will not kick them out. Instead, the state's actually paying the taxes on the property and the utilities because it would be illegal for them to shut off the utilities on squatters because, according to George Gascon, tenants have rights now. I mean, and they consider tenants squatters also. It's crazy. KTLA is talking about this. USA Today is talking about it. Fox is talking about it. ABC News. Beverly Hills, right? This is all coming out last day or two. But it kind of reminds me of this quote that I heard. It says, the aim of the ruling class is to stay where it is. The aim of the middle class is to overthrow the ruling class. And the aim of the lower class is to create a society where all classes are equal. And so if you think about what's happening right now against landlords and property owners, is this divide between the haves and have-nots is never getting greater. The tenants are upset with landlords over the high cost of living, and the landlords are very upset because of the high cost of insurance and taxes and the expenses that are going into it, the high interest rates on mortgages now. There's a lot of expenses and a lot of problems coming for landlords also. But look at this. Look at how crazy this situation's getting. And this is why I believe we're going to see 1 million plus people lose their home inside of the state of California. So before I even get into that, I'm going to show you where this property is located and I'm going to show you the house. Like, the house is absolutely beautiful in a prime location. Literally, like, you could, if you're a good golfer, you could probably hit a golf ball to Jeff Bezos' house from here. I mean, it's everyone lives around this neighborhood. So here's the house, $4.6 million. Jeff Bezos lives right in this area here. I mean, right here you have right there Michael Jackson's old house. This is a Spelling Mansion. This is the Playboy Mansion right here. Justin Bieber used to live right here. You go up San Ysidro right up here, which is San Ysidro here, into Beverly Park. You have Adele. You have Sylvester Stallone. All down here is the just for context, there's the house. Here is the Beverly Hills Hotel. So it's like prime location. And yeah, people can just, why would you list your home and move out of that property knowing a squatter could just move in and take it over, right? That's the state of California. But look at this. This is what nobody knows is coming next. So building code requirements, this, sources matter. This is on the California website, right? CaliforniaEnergyCommission.gov. It says over 65 California jurisdictions have already adopted policies to promote or require building electrification, and the California Air Resource Board has approved a strategy to ban the sale of gas heating and water heating equipment statewide. So Click right on the website. You can go here and it says, starting this year, gas heating and water heating equipment will no longer be sold in California. So what does that mean? That means that, that if you don't have your entire house electrified, you don't have all the upgrades, you won't be able to get energy, right? So that's what's going to happen. Mandatory upgrades are going to be coming on all these property owners. So imagine this. Imagine you're a landlord. You own a property. Like, hey, I'm going to rent it out. California, high rents. If you live in LA, high rents. Maybe the landlord bought their property years ago. Maybe they're doing really, really well on it. And then they're getting hit with this mandatory electrification. They're getting hit with all these new tenant protections. What's going to happen? People are going to, they're not going to have options. Many of them won't have options. They'll be forced to sell off their properties. And especially when you start to look at some of these changes they're trying to push forward, and this came out last week, January 19th, they're trying to repeal and overthrow something called Costa-Hawkins. And so when they overthrow Costa-Hawkins, what that means is that they could put rent control, meaning they control the price of the rent on single-family homes and condos. And if you rent out your home or rent out your apartment and that tenant moves out of that apartment, maybe they lived there for a very long time, they move out of that apartment, the landlord cannot increase the rent past what that former tenant was paying. Even after they fix up the unit and do any type of improvements to the property, they cannot increase the rent. And so what does that mean? Well, in a world where insurance is getting much, much more expensive in California, it means that tenants are going to have the upside in the short term, but landlords are going to be forced to pay higher costs on the electrification of the properties, on insurance on these properties, on taxes on these properties. And I think it's going to be a big problem for a lot of people inside the state of California. But inside of big periods of problems and stress comes big opportunity. I think we're going to see a lot of really wealthy investors run out there and start finding ways in which they can capitalize on this trend, because that happens every time. There's always winners, there's always losers. There's not going to be a situation where everyone just loses. There's going to be some really, really, really big winners. And I think they're going to be larger companies and certain companies that are very strategic and have ways in which they're going to navigate these changes. So California homeowners are increasingly running out of options to insure their homes with a private company, and yet another insurer announces its decision to stop offering new policies to its residents. I mean, you saw the storm in San Diego, you saw the problems there, but you can just see where we're headed. State Farm Insurance increasing in California by an average of 20% in 2024, ABC News. So you start to look at this, I mean, even car insurance, 35% increase on car insurance inside of California. It's getting so obvious what's happening here. January 9th, 2.5 weeks ago, renters this year will see new protections against evictions and other legal benefits. They get access to free attorneys inside of the state of California in most cities. So as we kick off 2024, ABC is on your side with the new laws renters should know to save money and protect against evictions. One change is how much money you have to put up front to rent an apartment. Previously, before, if you were locked in a unit, you usually need to have first month plus security deposit in advance. Now, the amount you have to pay up front could potentially drop by $1,000. By thousands of dollars. Landlords can now charge just 1 month of security deposit up front, said attorney. Previously, they could charge 2 months if the unit was unfurnished, or even 3. So you just pay 1 month. So if it's $2,000 to move into a unit, you pay the $2,000. And essentially, if there's problems, that's being held by the landlord, right? That's a responsibility of the landlord. They're changing no-fault evictions. It's interesting because also, alongside Karen Bass and the White House, they're doing something called an all-inside project, which means they want to reduce homelessness 25% by 2025 inside of the next year. How are they going to do that? How can they do that if they're going to allow evictions and they're going to allow evictions to continue? They're not. They're going to continue clamping down on landlord rights to keep people inside of these properties. Yet, the cost to maintain these properties is only going to continue to increase. I think we're going to see a situation where the haves and have-nots, the divide only gets bigger over time. So you want to position yourself for this. You want to position yourself in a really, really big way, because I think a lot of people are about to get pushed out of these properties. So I believe in tenant rights in LA, but LA is pushing out small landlords like me. Now, this landlord says that, hey, I believe in rent control. It says right here, I believe in rent control. Families shouldn't have their rents raised 10 or 20% a year. However, in the name of preventing homelessness, the city and county have passed numerous measures that are making it impossible for small landlords to function and will ultimately hurt vulnerable tenants. For example, in 2023, several years after this crisis began, at a time when unemployment rate was at a record low and wages were rising at unprecedented rates, landlords were told they could still not raise rents. In the end, small landlords like me took it on the chin as we watch all of our costs increase dramatically. So it's so obvious what's happened here. In Los Angeles, there was 3 years with an eviction moratorium. 3 years where tenants did not have to pay rent. So I think 2024 and 2025 will be very different than 2020 and 2021 and 2022. During those years, it was a massive bull run to own properties, whether you're an Airbnb investor, a house flipper, real estate syndicator, real estate investor, whatever it may be. Everyone wanted to get rich in real estate. But as we're walking into a different type of climate, one with higher interest rates and higher overall cost on properties and falling wages and all these upgrades and all these changes coming, you're going to start to see a lot of people run away from real estate, almost like a fire in a movie theater with only one exit. That's what I believe is going to happen. You want to position yourself, you want to have cash, you want to have credit, you want to put yourself in a position to own real assets. Inside of the mania, there will always be people that will make money. There will always be winners and always be losers. You just got to know the rules to the game. The game is getting rewritten. Those rules are getting changed. Drop below. Have a conversation about this. I mean, this is pretty crazy how fast the world's moving. And if you like to fix your credit, you want to position yourself for this massive opportunity, whatever it may be. Maybe there's a massive opportunity inside of your business. Maybe there's a massive opportunity inside of a business that you want to start. There's going to be a lot of change coming to society. And as I mentioned, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to capitalize on this change. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com, click the link in the description just below this video, schedule a free strategy session for Monday. Catch you next video.